Hi guys, welcome or welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we're heading out to go and test the Sigma Art 20mm 1.4 and see how it stacks up. So we're going to be testing this lens. Basically, like I've just said, if you haven't already, please do press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon because it will help you out no end. So because of Corona, we can't have loads of people coming around, so we're going to use Alf for this test and also some of the little objects that we find in the location. So we are in Hull today, and we're on one of my favourite streets down at the fruit market, and we're gonna shoot around here, around the marina, and see how the lens holds up. So it goes down to 1.4. We'll shoot most of today probably at around 1.4, but we may well increase for a couple of different shots. So I'll show you guys what I'm shooting. That's what the monitor on the top of the camera is for, so you guys can see straight through my viewfinder for exactly what I'm seeing. We're going to shoot Alf and hopefully create some art. So first things first guys, if you are working with a dog, Alfie close, set. That is not well trained, keep them on a lead, especially in built up areas. Let's set him up, Alf. Let's go down to 1.4. Okay, so we're gonna have to underexpose to retain the highlights, but we should be absolutely fine. Nice and central. Waiting. Okay, now nice and low, because wide angle lens, it's all about the angles. Ready? Where's ball? Where's ball? Ready? Where's ball? Where's ball? Ready? Where's ball? Where's ball? Where's ball? Where's ball? Go for portrait. Portraits can look really nice with wide angle lenses. Ready, Alf? Ready? Struggling a little bit for focus there with bright backlight. Good. Where's ball? So struggling there for focus. Let's try this side. Good. Where's ball? Okay. Good lad. So let's see how this lens does with slightly better light. So the light is going to come from this side, behind the deep here, which is an aquarium in Hull, and we're going to see how it does in terms of not having backlight to fight against, because some of these Sigma Art lenses I've found personally do struggle to lock onto a very dark subject with backlight. So let's see how fast and sharp the focus is when we've got some good light. Still hunting. Ready. Good. Ready. Okay. Good boy. Ready? Ready? Good. Beautiful. Okay. Good boy. It's just started to sleet and snow, so we're going to head back home and assess the images. We're back in the office now. I hope that you guys can see me okay, because actually we're recording this right now on the Sigma Art. I want to just cover off a couple of the things that happened in the previous clips that you guys have already watched. So one of the main things is that you guys saw camera and the lens really struggling to grab focus on Alf when he was backlit in quite a harsh environment. That actually I don't think is the lens. I think that is actually my Sony cameras. I'm currently in communication with Sony about potential focusing issues, so I will update you guys in the description below as to whether this is actually the lens struggling or whether it is the camera body that is struggling, as and when I find a definitive answer. So don't worry too much about the focus situation, because there, you know, it could be or it could not be the lens. So I don't want to say it is if it's not. Now I have actually split up this lens in terms of how I personally feel about it into wins and in the bins. So the wins are things that I would say this lens does really well, and then the in the bins are things that potentially it has not working in its favour. In terms of the wins, I want to run through some images with you, so let's go ahead and grab up Lightroom. Looking at these raws, I've just done some little adjustments in terms of the highlights and the shadows, because obviously obviously we were shooting backlit, we can get a pretty good feel for the image quality. Obviously I was shooting in a high ISO situation, we're at ISO 1000 and in not ideal lighting conditions, but this focus issue that I've mentioned that I think is the Sony body is actually causing it to grab on the back. So we're going to whiz past these images and just look at a couple of great ones and ones where the focus was fine. To this, the focus is front focused a little bit, and on this one, got perfect focus. One thing that I was really pleased with this lens, and it goes in the win pile, is the distortion isn't actually that bad. So let's grab up a image that I think you guys will quite like. So this image has been edited, you might have seen that over on Instagram. Let's equalize those highlights and shadows off there and go right the way down into the lens corrections. So this is with no lens corrections enabled at all, and if we enable the lens corrections, you will see that the vignetting is removed, and it's quite dramatic vignetting removal, but actually there isn't that much in terms of distortion correction, which is pretty insane. If you look at these verticals here, the vast majority is in the vignette removal and very little in terms of the distortion. So actually that is a big win for this lens. In terms of a wide angle, that is awesome. The focus in good light is great. Let me go ahead and switch over to an image of Dan. We are at 200% zoom, and you can see it is just crystal clear, absolutely brilliant. In this one, we're at ISO 100, f1.4, 1/400th of a second. And as you can see, really, it is absolutely brilliant, brilliant image quality. So we're at ISO 1000 now, so therefore it's in a lower light situation, and looking just, you can see the noise coming through from the camera body, but again the focus is really, really nice and sharp. So I hope that these images kind of give you a little bit of an extra kind of side of it, because looking at a black dog in a low light condition isn't particularly helpful, but I think it's very useful to see in reviews where usually it's all perfectly lit, and that's just not our reality if we are photographing animals out and about. So the depth of field as well is something that I just want to touch on, because as you can see in this shot, again we're zoomed into 200%. As you can see, the depth of field is beautifully tiny, which for me is a massive win, obviously. But this is obviously at 1.4, and the bokeh rendition as well is really nice. It is a really nice bokeh rendition. I think that it's lovely and smooth for a lens that is this wide. So I think, you know, another win in its favour. And there is one more win that I want to just discuss, which is in neither of these sets of images, but is in another set of images. I tested this lens also indoors in the dark at night, and I just had one lamp on, and this was the first time I'd ever tried out this lens, and I wanted to just give it a bit of a testaroo, and so I did. And in terms of how the images turned out, I'm really, really impressed. So again, no corrections on this one. If we put a correction on, you can see the massive change in the vignetting amount there. But really, we're at, again, ISO 1000 here at 1.4, and we've got that super tiny slither of focus, but it just works perfectly with the Sony's IAF, obviously on the A7R3. I'm just really impressed with it. For indoor work, I think this is going to be really well used, and also obviously for video work, which is what is being used at the moment. I think it's absolutely great. So many, many wins in that department, but I do have 5 in the bin points for this particular lens, and I want to discuss them with you guys because I think some of them are quite important depending on what and whom you shoot. So, number 1, the size. So the lens is actually 15 centimeters long on the Sony E-Mount fit. On other bodies, I think it comes out around about 15 centimeters. But yeah, the 15 centimeters is quite big. It is quite a big lens. I don't personally have an issue that I don't care how heavy my lenses are, how big they are. As long as I get great images from them, I don't really care. So for me, it's not a big deal, but for you, it might be, and therefore it's worth a mention. Second thing I mentioned earlier on, I think, is the rounded front element. So you're not going to be able to pop a filter on this particular lens. It's just not going to go very well for you, and it's not an option. So in that respect, it's not great. So the minimum focusing distance as well is something that I have found can be a little bit restrictive. In this situation, we've got nice and close up personal with our pause, but I would have liked to have been even closer there. So it's, I mean, yes, kind of is kind of a bit macro-esque because you can get super close, but If you want to have a less of a minimum distance, you want to be looking maybe at if you shoot Sony's 20mm 1.8, because you can get right up to the front element and it will still focus. Whereas in this situation, you have to be at least at 30 centimeters away. It's 27 centimeters from the sensor there. So about there. And then the last thing that I want to point out is in terms of the image quality. Definitely did see some fringing. Really not a good image of Alf there, but I hope that this helps to demonstrate that you do get a little bit of fringing now and again, but that is, as I say, pretty normal for lenses that go to such a wide aperture. So I wouldn't personally discount this lens just because of that. I'm going to pop up on the screen some edited images that were taken using this particular lens. In terms of me, am I going to keep this lens? Yeah, I think I am. I think it gives such a unique perspective. I think it's an awesome lens, and it's in the bins for me really aren't that big of an issue. So for me personally, is it a win or is it in the bin? It's a win. I hope that you've liked this review today. If you have, please do let me know in the comment section below. I know that we didn't stay outside for the entire duration of the review, but it started snowing and it was 0 degrees and Alf was shivering, so I'm going to take a welfare call over the content. Sorry about that, guys, if that is an issue. And if you haven't already, please do remember to press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon. I upload every single week, and usually more than that as well if I feel like it. We talk about all things portrait photography and also some other little bits, tips and tricks as well, which hopefully will help to enhance your life and just make, you know, yourself a happier, better person. What more could we all want? I hope that you're all safe and well at the moment, and I'll see you all again really, really soon.